7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Wow, the audio is all kinds of jacked up tonight.
What's going on? We're off to the races, everyone.
Holy moly. Welcome to Freethought in Florida. I'm going to rant about Wirecast for a moment.
Do
it. Hopefully we won't disappear in the middle of the show this week.
I always do, but it's fine.
Like we did last week and the week before. I had to completely recreate this entire show file from scratch. So that was really awesome. Exactly what I wanted to do with my afternoon today. Spend time doing all of that. But hey, if it keeps the thing from shutting off in the middle, great, fine. And if it plays the same music at a 7-second delay, who gives a shit?
Or longer.
Freethought in Florida is a production of the atheist community of Polk County, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. It's Friday, the 20th. The 20th. Oh, Jesus. It's August 20th already.
Whew. It's almost patio weather in Florida.
Right, for the week.
A month or two.
Right, for the week.
In a month or two.
We want to thank our patrons at patreon.com/polkatheists. Those fine folks make monthly contributions to support the show and help keep us doing whatever this is that we do every week.
I have no idea.
But we very much appreciate it. Lots of work to do here in Florida. And you're helping us do that work. So thank you. And of course, rate, review, subscribe, hit the bell, all of those things. Share out the episodes, let people know about us, and help us grow the audience. Thank you so much. Devon Graham with me tonight. Dr. Devon, how are you?
I don't know. I'm doing really great.
Yeah?
As always.
Okay.
Seriously having a great day. I'm kicking ass and taking names today.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Everything else is shit, but
right. Literally everything else. I sat down to put together some topics, some news stories to cover some things.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't wade out of the COVID news to even get into anything like church-state separation or religion or like none of that is Florida, everything is COVID right now. Yeah.
You literally cannot in Florida. It's awful. I say this every week. I just don't understand how we're so bad. Like, why is this the way why are we the way we are? Why is Florida the way it is? It shouldn't be this way, but alas, it's a shit show. We are the dark red we're the maroon, dark red, almost black on every single map for whatever reason, and that includes COVID. But as our governor said, the numbers are flattening.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix the audio now because they can hear you but not me.
What? Okay, everyone. Now's my chance. Now's my chance. I'm taking over. Okay. Listen.
What
is happening?
Which is the opposite of what was happening last weekend.
Someone couldn't hear what I said, but I said it was really good all the time.
God
is good all the time, so is Devon.
I give up. All right, take it away, Devon. Devon can hear me. I don't know what the problem.
I can hear you.
I don't know what y'all's problem is.
She said, I don't know what y'all's problem is.
Oh, I know what the problem is.
She knows what the problem is. We got this. So I apologize for my head being so big tonight. I can't get my computer far enough away without falling off the desk or making a new desk. So that's just my big face.
Okay.
Tonight I'm drinking Florida Man beer.
Okay.
From Cigar City. Because it seems apropos. So that means I'm going to get really gassy because that's what beer does to me. And my, I can't believe I'm running the show and I have nothing to say. I can't believe I can take this and run and I have absolutely nothing to say. So had a really good day, everybody. I'm not going to say why because it's not for public consumption. Oh, it's work related, but it was really good. I just want everyone to know that a girl kicked some ass.
That girl was
And they
you.
were
Okay,
boys.
they
That
should be
girl
able
was
to
me.
hear me now.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. Can you hear me now?
Because
I feel like the
2 minutes into
Verizon
story.
commercial from the early 2000s. Can you hear me now?
I believe he works for Sprint now.
Oh, does
So,
he?
yeah, he came back or something as working for Sprint.
Hmm.
Because it was funny. Oh, no one knows what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now, everyone? That's what we're talking about. The Verizon guy.
They can hear me now. We're good.
Okay.
Now there's like a terrible delay on my
God, there
on
was
my
so
video.
much stress on me. God, that was a lot. I can never be in showbiz or improv or anything. I would. It's a lot of pressure.
Here's what I'm gonna do. That won't. Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
there's a delay. I don't care. I'm over it.
We're just gonna look like we're like in a Japanese in a Godzilla
it was
movie.
a kabuki.
Shit, things are going great. Welcome to Florida, everyone. We're talking about COVID. We're talking about Florida because there is absolutely nothing else to talk about.
That's the only thing happening right now.
Oh, there is something else happening. I just got word on this.
Oh, ooh.
Let me make a note of this.
Oh, you're not going to tell us now?
Oh, okay, we can do it now.
Yeah, tell us now. This is breaking news. Breaking news,
slowly
everyone.
but surely, bills are coming in or being filed into the Senate and the House. And one was just filed, I believe, today or late last night, requiring that school board elections. I don't know if you guys know about what's going on with school boards here in Florida, but it's a real shit show. And so the school boards, I didn't read the notes. I'm sorry. Are we talking about the school boards? I did read them. I just forgot.
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So
go ahead.
So the Alachua County.
Can't believe you don't read my notes.
I did. I'm sorry. I did. I kind of did. let me go find them now.
Okay, so the Alachua County School Board, what now?
Which is like the second largest school district in the state, first largest, whatever. They are requiring masks.
Right.
Because they have to. Otherwise, everyone dies. And so there's been, obviously, once they did it, Broward and all the other counties are doing it, Duval. And it's been great. It's been great seeing our local elected officials stand up to a monster that's in office. And this is good. Okay, this is COVID and church-state separation. I totally forgot about this. Oh my God, I can't believe. Shit, I had such a great day that I totally forgot about this. Okay, I'm changing the whole fucking show. Okay, so what happened is that DeSantis threatened to take away school funding. He can't do that. He threatened to take away the superintendent's salary. He can't do that. He told the school boards that they have to punish themselves. They're not going to do that. And so it just goes on and on. So what happened is a Alachua County school board member lives, I believe, 30 feet outside the zone.
Okay.
He was a very, very progressive member. He was removed immediately from the board yesterday, the day before, very recently. And instead, Ron DeSantis, our esteemed governor, appointed somebody to take his place.
Oh.
I want you to guess what kind of person. I'm gonna have to talk slowly because I have to look it up because I forgot the person's name. I want you to guess what kind of person took the progressive members.
I'm gonna go with a conservative mask hole spread neck. That's what I'm going with.
Ding ding ding. So this is so bad that I can't remember the person's name, but I know the husband. So I do know her name. Her name is Mildred Russell.
Okay.
Her husband's name is Rusty Russell. I just want to again say her husband's name is Rusty Russell. They run the what is it called? Miracle Life Ministries and also Rusty Russell Ministries.
Oh.
And they were previously part of the Maranatha group, cult-like group out of Gainesville, which is very controversial and they are super arch conservative. So the governor appointed to a local school board a far right wing evangelical who does not have kids in the school district, first of all.
Right.
But yep. So this kind
You know,
of
the thing
sketch.
that really frustrates me is that, and we've talked about this before, but like the whole idea of like, oh well, home rule is great as long as it benefits us, but the moment like it stops benefiting us, then screw you. You can't ban masks at your, you can't require masks at your school. We're banning that. We're going to supersede your local government control at the state level.
Yeah.
Which is just insane.
No, and as one of my friends said, nothing ever good came out of a woman named Mildred. So, and I will.
That's
beg
not
to differ on
true.
that.
I
That's
was
not
going to
true,
say
'cause
I have a great aunt or something named
my
Mildred.
great aunt's name is Mildred,
Yeah.
and she raised me as a granddaughter, and to this day, I love her to death.
Right.
So she's
It was
great. But
my
this
grandma and all of her sisters, Ruby and Mary Lou and Mildred.
Just say Hazel.
And
Just say Hazel.
there wasn't a Hazel.
Ethel.
I'm trying to think. There was a whole bunch of kids.
Ernestine.
No.
Bernice.
Ruth. Okay, so let's start through our list here, and we'll come back to that sort of
show notes open. I'm reading them right
that local level. We'll come back to that sort of school board local level stuff.
Yeah.
In a moment. So I want to start with a couple of things that are like hot off the presses, breaking news that happened in the last 24 hours.
Not even that.
Not even that.
Barely.
Today. The first
Barely.
one is, and hopefully we won't lose any audio or anything.
We're absolutely losing something, so just go with it.
I'm definitely like max headroom or something in here.
I've already started snorting. Shit. Shit.
Gonna be a long night, kids. Strap in.
We're in here for a while.
Okay, so Devon, tell us about this picture. Now this
should be a picture that we see at like midnight at 2 a.m. at like the Atlanta airport because all the flights got delayed for ice or something.
Right.
This is what this picture should be.
However,
what this is not an airport. This is not a third world country. This is the Jacksonville Public Library main branch. This is a woman who is deathly ill from COVID, just sitting there in the lobby of the public library in Jacksonville.
And now, let me interrupt you to say that like a lot of people on all of this, the news articles or whatever, are like, well, why the hell are they in the library? Because the hospitals are overrun and there's no room for people. That's why they're in the library. They have converted the conference center at the library to be a fucking triage center for COVID patients.
And it's not just like a triage center for COVID patients. This is specifically for the Regeneron monoclonal antibody treatment that our Governor DeSantis has been pushing. Instead of pushing for masks and vaccines, which are freaking free, he's pushing for this overpriced monoclonal antibody treatment instead. And so, which, let's not even get into the fact that it has the same lower level, I believe, of FDA clearance as the vaccines do. So people who are like vaccine skeptics, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Don't get me started. Okay, so the library is one of the places that the state has set up with the city's approval where they can administer this monoclonal antibody treatment. So everyone and their mother who has not been vaccinated, who is deathly ill, are going to the public library and in the hopes that they can get a shot. However, what's going on here is those people who are like deathly ill are too freaking sick to get the treatment. It's they're too far gone.
You're supposed to take it like before major symptoms set in.
Yes, I'd say she's got a symptom or two. I don't know.
Oh, let me read from this Jacksonville.com article. What newspaper is that?
Oh, I don't.
I can't
I
remember.
forgot
It's
what
the something
Jacksonville one.
Star Register or something. I don't know.
Star Ledger.
Louis Lopez showed up to the downtown Jacksonville Main Library Conference Center on Wednesday in the early afternoon for a Regeneron therapy appointment. His primary care doctor recommended it after Lopez tested positive for COVID-19 and was experiencing moderate to severe symptoms. While waiting in line for his turn, 2 other people got in line behind Lopez. Both of them, he says, sat down on the floor immediately. They eventually laid down, quote, sick and moaning. Lopez, 59, told the Times Union, that's what it is.
That's it. We knew that.
The woman pictured in yellow, here, let me put that back on there. The woman pictured in yellow,
The near dead one,
was dragging herself on the floor as the line slowly moved forward.
Can you imagine being that sick that you had to resort to that?
Right?
Seriously, like,
Ugh.
oh,
Lopez took a photo and sent it to his wife, who then sent it to all of us. It went quickly,
Thank you,
went
Lopez.
viral on
Thanks,
Reddit
Lopez.
after his wife, Suzanne, posted it in the social media platform with the message, everyone, please be careful, whether you're vaccinated or not. My husband, vaccinated but positive, has been waiting 2+ hours for monoclonal therapy, and he says he has never seen people so sick, moaning, crying, unable to move.
Freaking believable.
About 24 hours after she posted it, the photo had hundreds of comments and already made the rounds on everywhere. Many questioning why there weren't more places for people to sit or rest while they waited. Quote, there were only a couple of chairs in there, but then as the line started to progress, more people came in, and that's when I realized that they were taking walk-ins at the same time as appointments. And the people that were laying down, they were behind me, and I was just watching them for a while, and they were just sick and moaning, Lopez said. Part of me wondered why the staff didn't just take them up to the front. And it was so cold in there. They brought some of those paper coats and covered them up, and then probably after about another half hour, they came and got wheelchairs and put them on wheelchairs.
I'm furious at this. I'm so angry.
Right?
Oh God, I know we've talked about this 1,001 times, but like, it's hard for me to have pity for someone who hasn't been vaccinated that very well could.
Yep, me too.
And then they get to this position, and then God only knows how many people just walked into the library looking for a book, picking up their holds, and was exposed to this person.
Right.
Hopefully it wasn't like, hopefully they did keep them separated, but still. Like, so yeah.
Sky says their spouse works in a hospital. He always says people think this is a hoax, need to be forced to work in a hospital for 1 week. Oh, my spouse works in a hospital. Needs to be forced to work in a hospital for 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
It would fix their ignorance. Right. Like, go live it. Go see it.
Live it. I think I was talking to somebody else. Like, number one, our governor has not gone to a hospital, like an ICU or a sick unit, to like get his little photo op with all the frontline workers.
Right.
He's never pushed masks. He's never pushed vaccines. Instead, he's pushed this freaking treatment, which you wouldn't need really if you took the previous steps that I mentioned. But like, I feel like the skeptics who are like, this is a freaking hoax, they need to go in and they need to be the ones that sit in the ICU and hold the patient's hand as they die because their family can't be there.
Right.
Like, they need to be the ones that do that. They need to be the ones like going into the NICU and the PICU and all, like the children's units.
Yeah.
And watching those kids, I don't understand why people are still denying this.
Right.
It's infuriating. I'm constantly raging. I have to say that I am, in the past week or two, I have not stopped being angry about literally everything because this is just setting me off.
Right.
And I've been living it this week. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So.
I'm about to skip some. I don't want to read the whole thing, but this treatment is designed for people who have either been diagnosed or exposed to someone with COVID-19, are at high risk for progression to severe illness, hospitalization, or death. Public affairs director for the city said the number of people seeking treatment increased on Wednesday. On Tuesday, 97 doses of the treatment were administered. A day later, the number jumped to 143. They're providing triple the number of wheelchairs, additional seating for those waiting in line, and signage that directs patients to alert someone if they need any type of assistance. Here's that sign. You've got to be fucking kidding me, right?
All they need to do is keep that top part and then say, for media purposes. Like, don't put us in the freaking papers again.
Right.
Shit.
Right.
Stop embarrassing us. You're making us look bad.
Tired of being viral, guys. Stop
Literally
it.
viral. Literally and figuratively viral. I did it.
You did
it.
Damn.
Oh, on a freaking roll.
Lopez is feeling better since he first tested positive last week and is only
Good for
experiencing a mild headache and fatigue. While the photo has garnered widespread attention, Lopez doesn't think it captures the moment completely. They were very sick. I told somebody else that the picture doesn't convey how much in pain they were because they were moaning. The poor woman in yellow could barely move. She needed help. I asked her at one point if she needed help. She said no, but she was just miserable.
I don't want to see people in that position.
No.
I just don't want to.
All of this was preventable, damn it.
Raging. Constant rage. I don't need any more rage in my life, but here it is.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep. Meanwhile, also breaking that happened today, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer held a news conference this afternoon.
This is news to me. It surprised me that.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I didn't hear this one.
So apparently there's a problem with the Orlando Utilities Commission due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Apparently that the Orlando Utilities Commission uses liquid oxygen in its water treatment process, right?
Yep.
Quote, our hospitals are experiencing the highest number of unvaccinated, critically ill patients at this time and any other point in during the pandemic. Many of these patients require liquid oxygen for their respiratory treatment, Dyer said. This liquid oxygen is a critical part of the care that hospitals are providing to try to fight the deadly disease and to save lives. So the added need for liquid oxygen at hospitals is impacting the supply available to treat the water. So what does that mean to us here in Orlando? Dyer says it means there could be impacts to our water quality if we don't immediately reduce the amount of water that we need to treat. They're asking Orlando residents to stop using so much fucking water.
I'm sorry, in August? What? In Florida. Don't drink that shit.
What?
So in that same vein, we got an email at work today. As people know, I'm a lab rat. I work in the lab
with rats.
Do research. We got an email today saying that the supplier of oxygen tanks. So I don't know. Every lab has about 50 oxygen, nitrogen, some sort of tank of some sort.
Okay.
Just to do research, and it's basic stuff. Like it's not like we're doing crazy things. Like this is part of our everyday MO. We were told that they are probably going to be non-existent soon because they have to supply the hospitals.
Oh.
And so they won't supply anymore. Luckily, I have a backup for my stuff, and if someone steals it, I am going to be furious. but I mean, that's another secondary, tertiary consequence of this. Like we're not going to be able to do our research because the supplies that we need are gone. I mean, on those same lines, like we're on a backlog to get gloves.
Right. Oh, I'm sure.
Gloves, gloves, any type of like PPE, things that are used in the test, like pipette tips. Like I go through hundreds a day. I hate it. Like it's wasteful, but it's like it's necessary.
Right.
Things like that. We're in a month backlog. Like I started going to like some Chinese vendor wherever to get hypodermic needles that I need to use.
Wow.
I'm sure they're fine. They seem okay. But we can't get syringes and needles for our work either. So
yeah,
I think it's going to start affecting like your regular doctor's visit soon as well. Like you're not going to be able to get your, your your flu vaccine or things like that, because they're not going to have the supplies. They're not going to have all the gloves and
Right.
the masks that they need as well.
God, that's so
So
frustrating.
it's really frustrating. Like there's always like these downstream consequences that we don't think about.
Oh,
And
right.
I would never.
We're not even
expect
thinking
the
of
wa-
the immediate consequences.
No,
What are you
we're not
talking
even doing
about?
that. But like, I think the water supply that affects literally what the second largest city in Florida, third largest city,
Yeah,
something like that,
that's a big fucking deal.
in our tourist capital. Whew,
Yeah.
good luck on that.
Hey, speaking of tourism,
Hey.
stop
Oh,
coming
hey.
here.
Don't come here.
Visit Florida just announced that the travelers to Florida in the second quarter of this year have been counted, and data shows not only a 220% rebound from last year's lockdown spiral, but also a bump from 2019's numbers.
No!
Stop
Don't
coming
come here!
Stop it! Ugh.
Don't! I want people in the state to do well. I don't want people to be like in dire straits or whatever, but this isn't worth it. Like, our economy will recover. I know you work in like the tourist industry.
I do,
so I want to,
but
in
like,
the hospitality industry,
stay
but
away.
like, it's not the time. This is going to make it worse for longer, and just
right.
Yeah.
So like, I get it. You're all tired of sitting around in lockdown.
Oh,
which,
yeah.
by the way, we haven't really been in we were in lockdown for a hot flash in the pan.
Not barely
and,
that.
And that was it. And then we were like, everything's fine. Everybody back to work.
It was like great going to a restaurant once.
Right, right. And even then, sitting outside in the outdoor seating.
They're not growing anywhere.
Yeah. But now, like, I get it. Everybody's like tired of it. It's pandemic fatigue or whatever we're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. I get it. I do. But
Yeah.
just fucking hang on a bit, because we were like, oh, I can't do this anymore. Everybody go back to normal. We've hit reset, and now we're starting all over again. We talked about this with the schools, and we're going to get into that a bit more. Like with the schools not being able to enforce mask mandates and going up against the governor's ban on mask mandates and all of this stuff. Like all we're doing is reliving last year over again, because I'm telling you, here in the next month, school districts are going to go, well, fuck, I guess we're going to go back to virtual learning again, because we just have to. Because you all couldn't stay the fuck home, wear your fucking mask, stay away from each other, stop touching each other.
Yep.
Here we are again.
We're back. I never finished my thought about like the bill that was filed about school. I got distracted. We can go into that later.
That's okay.
We'll go because it relates. So
okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, stop coming here. That's really, I mean, that's really it. We're up 6% from 2019.
Fuck.
Is where we're at.
People.
Yep. And like, I don't want to see anybody's small business shut down, like mom and pop, whatever. I don't want you to go out of business. I want you to be able to provide for yourselves or whatever. But like, I was having a conversation with someone earlier today about the problems of food insecurity and homelessness, which you've heard me say this a gazillion fucking times. We have the wealth, we have the food. We could solve it by dinner time and be done. We could, like, we have the resources available in this country to do the thing and just be done with it. But we refuse to do it. We could lock down. Assholes. We could lock down and weather a pandemic. We could do it. And
4 weeks, people.
You're going to have to, like, redistribute some wealth. And I know that makes you uncomfortable. I know it does. But, like, does Jeff Bezos really need that rocket? Like, come the fuck on.
It looks like a penis anyway.
That could have gone towards saving small businesses and allowing them to lock down and do the things that we all needed to do. Oh, my God. I'm so mad about this still. Why are we still... Okay.
Ditto.
I pulled the next story because it had an interesting word in the headline. This one comes from Florida Politics. Amid new virus surge, Florida skeptics reconsider vaccines.
Florida what?
Skeptics.
Skeptical of what?
Vaccines.
Oh, okay, good.
So we'll put skeptics in scare quotes. How about that?
Come on, Peter Schorsch, the whatever his name is, the head of Florida politics. You can do better.
Oh, this is an AP story.
No.
Yeah. Okay, listen.
AP.
All of a sudden, it hit real close to home. In a rural stretch of northeastern Florida where barely half the people have gotten the coronavirus shot, Roger West had no problem telling others he was, quote, adamantly anti-vaccination. The co-owner of the West Side Journal weekly newspaper used his voice as a columnist to widely share his doubts about the vaccine and his mistrust of health experts in the U.S. who have been urging everyone to get it. Quote, I do not trust the federal government, West wrote recently. I do not trust Dr. Fauci. I do not trust the medical profession, nor the pharmaceutical giants. But something happened to change his mind.
Oh, what happened?
2 of West's close friends became ill with the virus, and a third died. Rattled and stressed, he prayed for guidance. That's not the thing you should have been.
Number one,
that's the
skeptic.
first. Yeah. Then, when his mother and another relative both urged him to get vaccinated, he God of the gaps that into a sign from God. He drove to the Winn-Dixie, rolled up his sleeve, got himself the Moderna shot.
Stop. God damn it, people.
Like, I'm sorry your friend died, and I'm sorry that your people got sick. But I'm really struggling with my humanism here. I really am, because this is a big
test. This is God testing us.
You're right. Right.
No, this is like a huge test for humanism, because
it really is.
We talked about this before the show. Like, it's really hard for us to feel sorry for people that aren't doing the right thing.
Right. Yeah, there's a big part of me that's like, oh, you didn't get vaccinated and you got COVID, and you should be last in line for an ICU bed or event. Like, sorry.
Skeptical of this, skeptical of medicine.
Vaccine is a fast pass. Like, get the vaccine, and then if for some reason you end up in the hospital and you need whatever, okay, fine, you get to go. Been wearing your mask this whole time? Yeah, you can move ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, you've been calling this a hoax and pretending that none of this was real the whole time? Back of the line, bucko.
Fuck your face. Get in the back.
I feel like it is so straining my humanism.
It hurts.
It
really
does.
hurts. I mean, it is like an internal struggle. Like, it's a dialogue I have with myself kind of constantly now. Like, I feel like I need to be sorry for people like that.
Right.
That
it's not like
we're on the floor.
We're not out lobbying hospitals to change their policies or whatever. No, like, it's just a thing that's going on in our brain.
But like, looking at that picture of that woman on the floor, God, I feel for her. Like, we've all been sick like that.
Yes.
And no one wishes that on anyone. But at the same time, she
do the thing.
Didn't do the right thing. So I don't know.
West is not alone in this inland area of Nassau County, sandwiched between Jacksonville and the Okefenokee Swamp at the Georgia-Florida line. Did I hit that? Did I nail that?
I think
hot damn.
Good job.
Whatever. Close enough.
Just say syllables.
A devastating resurgence of the coronavirus is making even some diehard vaccine skeptics reconsider the shots. Stop calling them vaccine skeptics, and that's really the reason I pulled the story. Stop it.
They've all been vaccinated. There are very few true anti-vaxxers that are in this movement. That's what pisses me off. They are all walking around with their smallpox scar. They've all been fully vaccinated. They've submitted their records to schools and jobs and everything else. Screw that. I'm sorry. For
the week ending July 29th, the county of 89,000 logged 810 new cases of the coronavirus. At that time, it was the highest rate in Florida, one of the epicenters of a nationwide spike in infections driven by the highly contagious Delta variant. Some county residents who thought the pandemic had all but ended have seen multiple family members suddenly infected during the latest wave. Yet one young woman in Callahan, a town of about 1,000 people, that's like where I grew up, saw her fiance, her mother, and her grandmother all die from COVID-19 within a week. Within a week.
Oh, God, that's like 10% of the population right there.
Right.
But still, like,
right.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot.
I've seen fear grip people like never before, said Dwight Allen, pastor of a 200-member congregation at the Anchor Church of God. When members ask him questions about the shot, Allen tells them he got jabbed with no ill side effects. Thank you
sir.
for
Thank
doing
you.
what needs to be
Thank you.
done. Thank you.
Thank you. I truly appreciate when people who are kind of on the opposition. Let's be
Right,
honest. Like
right.
most evangelical pastors are
Yeah.
not
And
promoting
this is a
this shit.
Church of God?
It's a
Okay.
Church of God.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Good for them. Thank you,
Good for
Pastor
you.
Allen.
I support you, sir.
Dr. Phillips Cow, family practitioner who treats patients at University of Florida Health Clinic in Callahan, said many older people in the area got coronavirus shots a month ago, while younger adults put them off as infections declined sharply in the spring. Everybody thought it was kind of dying out or going away. Then you had this new variant come in, he said. It was just ripe for another surge. And of course, like that's exactly what we've seen. Now, younger people are being more affected because they're less likely to have been vaccinated and under a certain age can't even get access to the vaccine.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Good times.
Prior to this latest wave of the virus, Callahan Funeral Home had not handled arrangements for any COVID-19 victims since April. That's changed. Owner Ellis Mechanic said said he's overseen funerals for 5 people who died from the virus since July, more than half his total business in the past month. Jesus.
Why isn't this affecting more people?
Despite his age, his proximity to virus deaths and chronic lung illness, and his own recent bout with COVID-19, the 61-year-old funeral home director had still not been vaccinated when he spoke to a reporter recently.
Are you kidding me?
He said at first he was wary of how quickly the shots were developed, but then he decided he spent too long waiting to make up his mind.
I missed what he said. But
he was wary of how quickly the shots were developed. I didn't get into this with somebody on the internet lately. I commented this on someone's post lately that was like, oh, but it was so quick. Okay, when SARS first appeared, they started working on this. And that was like 2003. This is
a variation of that.
Right.
We're not starting from scratch. This is not an alien virus.
Right. This is SARS-CoV-2. Like
this, we had a basis for this.
Right.
And not only that, but when you pour, I don't know, this may be a life lesson for people, but when you pour bazillions of dollars into a single bit of research,
right,
you get results.
Yeah.
You fucking get results. This is a lesson for everyone when they're like, we've put too much money into our science. No, we put nothing into our science.
Yeah, keep pouring money in.
We don't put shit into our science. We put it into the wrong places, if anything. Like, when you pour this much money into vaccine development and to genome, like getting the whole genome of COVID-19, goddamn, we can do a shit ton real fast. And this has gone through the same amount, if not more, scrutiny as the monoclonal antibody treatment.
Right.
Which also contains the dead
aborted.
Do I even go there?
I didn't pull that story. I was going to. That's a good one, though. Like,
it's a good one.
That's a good one. You'll be glad to know 61-year-old mechanic is going to get it says, okay, it's time that I go get the shot now.
Yeah,
I'll go get it.
It kind of is. Let's shame these people. Shame them.
Still, there are some who won't be swayed. In Hilliard, a town of 3,100 in Nassau County, 80-year-old Frances Sims refuses to get vaccinated. Long before COVID-19, Sims said she feared vaccines required for school children might have harmful side effects and pushed for some of her grandchildren to get exempted based on religious beliefs.
God damn you, Frances.
After some members
Nothing good has ever come from someone named Frances. We can say that, can't we?
Sure, I don't have anybody.
Apologize to all Frances.
I don't have any Franceses in my family to offend. After some members of her large family fell ill with coronavirus, 2 of Sims' children persuaded her husband to get vaccinated, but she won't budge. Quote, some of them are kind of aggravated with me, she said. They say, Mama, if you get it, you might die, Sims said. I do trust the Lord to take care of me. If I die, if I die, it's my time.
It's your time, honey. It's your time.
God.
This attitude.
Do you live the rest of your life like that? Like, if God's making all the calls, why do you have glasses? Like, God must have meant for you to have shitty vision. Why did you go to the eye doctor?
Didn't mean for me to cover my face with a mask.
Right.
But I will cover my eyes with some glasses.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
When you got breast cancer, why did you go get chemotherapy? Or like whatever, pick a thing. Like oh my God.
There's nothing that we can say that we haven't already bitched about.
Her son, Kenny, a Hilliard town councilman, ended up getting jabbed in the spring after his employer announced plans to scale back paid leave for workers exposed to the virus. He's glad he did. When the summer surge hit, Sims and his wife had to care for their grown son and daughter and a 1-year-old grandson who caught the virus. He believes the vaccine protected him and his wife from getting sick, though he's still not convinced the shots are completely safe. I ain't sold this vaccine is the answer, Kenny said. It actually says I ain't sold. Quote,
I write ain't.
I ain't
so
so.
We're not gonna. I'm
do
not.
You
I
really?
ain't gonna.
Well, you do, I read it in this voice.
Thank you.
I ain't sold this vaccine is the answer, but I believe it's the lesser of two evils. That's how I read it. Get your vaccine.
That's how I'm writing it. I'm writing it in that accent.
I'm sure you are.
I totally am.
Okay. The next story comes to us from Newsweek. More than 50 children on average are being taken to hospital with COVID-19 each day in Florida. This is as of 3 days ago, so that's probably higher.
It's higher than that right now.
According to CDC data from the 17th, the current 7-day average then was 55 children aged between 0 and 17 admitted to Florida hospitals every day. Between August 7th and August 13th. That's your window. Figures represent a 10.5% change from the previous 7-day average recorded between July 31st and August 6th. Hospital admissions across the Sunshine State have risen in all age categories, with those above 70 years old being the worst affected. Florida now leads the U.S. in new COVID-19 infections. We're number 1 and has the highest rate of hospitalizations among children in the nation. God damn it.
God damn it.
And our governor, meanwhile, has banned mask, vaccine, and lockdowns mandates.
Yep.
So great. It's all good. Everything's fine. We're doing so good.
Going really well.
We're doing so good.
We've never been better. I was just looking at the they started releasing Leon County here in Tallahassee started releasing the dashboard of like the number of students who have been affected, staff members that have been affected, and this is something they didn't do last year, which I think is interesting because I don't think they're really supposed to do it, but they are. And this is something we should talk about. So the number of like if you look at the schools that have the most infections,
right?
Tallahassee. Let's imagine Tallahassee is a circle or a square, whatever. The top half of Tallahassee, the north part of Tallahassee, is all white rich people.
Okay. Right.
It's the affluent part of town.
I'm already envisioning the heat map. Like I know what it looks like.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe I'll surprise you.
Maybe.
And the lower half is lower socioeconomic status. It's majority black.
Right.
And minority, just lower majority minority. I'm sure you'll be shocked to know that as far as exemptions, like the opt-outs, the majority of those come from the northern schools.
No.
Shockingly, yes, I know you're shocked by this, but and the most of the infections are from also the northern schools.
What?
My son was quarantined this past week. He wears a mask. He's fully vaccinated. The day that the 12-year-olds were allowed, he was in Walgreens, and I was like, you jab him 20 times, do it. But it was we think it's a person in his like last period class. This is kind of funny. And this particular teacher in this class on the first day of school said something like, I know we all got to wear these stupid masks. Oh, and Eisen is just like, that's my son's name. He's just like, okay, I can't wait to tell mom about this.
Was this before or after the moment of silence?
It was after. It's not even
Oh, you said
going
last
there.
period, right? Okay.
This is last period.
Oh God.
So it was way after.
Ugh.
So yeah, and
How's that going? Is he any hail Satans or anything?
not yet.
Okay.
Getting there though. But like there's one kid who didn't, there's like a bunch of kids who didn't wear a mask and they're all in the same spot. So patient 0, who we think is
Right.
patient 0, is like in the center of this little circle of the
Mhm.
room. And everyone in that circle around him also not wearing a mask. And my son was in like the second circle, like the second concentric ring. And they called me, it's like he was within, 6 feet,
Right.
may have been exposed or whatever.
Jesus
So I was like,
Christ.
okay. And so we had to go through the like testing and all that shit. And of course, because we are forbidden, school districts are forbidden from doing Zoom. Like we cannot have online classes in Florida public schools.
I'm telling you, that's going to change in a hot minute.
It's going to change very soon.
Yep.
And so I'm like, you know what? You've got your school, the Chromebook that the school gives you. You can just go online. The teachers will post stuff. You'll be fine. He sat here for 2 days until we got the test results. He's negative, by the way. He sat here for 2 days, like picking his nose, until we got the test results, because the teachers aren't doing online classes, so he can't participate. And they never put the stuff online. Like these are the lessons for the day.
Right.
They may do it at the end of the day, but they're not allowed to do the online classes. So there's no like impetus for them to like post the lessons from the previous day on. So he's been literally like doing
that.
chores.
That reminds me, doing chores. Poor kid. You're just such a bitch. Making him do chores.
I made him pick tomatoes for 2 days in a row.
Wow.
Our tomato plant's out of control.
How do you grow tomatoes in Florida? Mine always split.
I don't know. We can only grow the tiny cherry.
Oh, okay, that's why. All right.
That's the only way we can grow.
No, the big ones won't grow here.
No, they will not. It's weird.
Yeah, they all every tomato I've ever tried to grow here, except the only thing I haven't tried is growing in a pot on the lanai. Like I haven't done that, but out in the garden, no, every single one of them
every
splits.
tomato dies. I don't know how we have agriculture here in Florida, but the tomatoes can't grow. It's the only plant that I can grow and not have like, and that will actually grow.
Right.
But we have cherry tomatoes that have actually taken over our front yard because
that's nice.
That plant.
That's good. I love cherry tomatoes. Okay, so my son, who's 11, is going into 6th grade. Whom you fans of the show will know, we pulled from school and enrolled into virtual. We finally got notification this week that his enrollment was accepted. They're like way backlogged. I couldn't imagine why. Like I don't know. I don't know what their problem is. But his class, like half the friends in his circle of friends were quarantined the first week of school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hundreds of kids.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Well, hey, let's get to that right now.
Let's do it.
This is.
Sorry, I jumped ahead. I knew we were going to talk about
No, this is good. This is from the Florida Phoenix.
I love Florida Phoenix. Bless them.
Me too. Florida school districts caught off guard by a whole new COVID pandemic that erupted just as schools were reopening that nobody could see. That was an editorial. They're scrambling to chase down infections and exposures on campus without the resources they need for testing and contact tracing. One Florida school superintendent described it this week as drowning.
Oh, yeah.
One school each in Charlotte and Hernando counties closed, and one in Bay County delayed opening this week. The entire 5th grade at Glades County School shut down, and 21 classrooms in Lee County were shuttered, according to the Florida Education Association. FEA also reports 17 school employees, including 7 teachers and an assistant principal, have died of COVID since August 1st. This is the 20th.
Still in August.
This is 20 days.
Less than 3 weeks.
Jesus. The COVID resurgence, largely fueled by the Delta variant, preying on unvaccinated people, has driven more than 28,000 students and school staff in Florida into quarantine and isolation based on confirmed infections or direct exposures to infected people. 28,000 students and staff.
That's a lot. I would say that's significant.
That's cities. Those are cities. Like 28,000 people's a city.
That's like 3 times the size of the town that I grew up in. More than that. Come on.
Yeah. And that is with only 6 of Florida's 67 school districts reporting.
Unbelievable. freaking believable.
Uh-huh. Pasco County School Superintendent Kurt Browning says, I think these numbers are pretty staggering. No shit. Describing the local crisis to school board members on Tuesday. We are drowning. We are struggling to stay afloat. Browning, a former Florida Secretary of State, said that of 1,261 COVID cases detected during Pasco's first week of classes, fewer than 400 were completed, meaning traced to their source, with that person and his or her contacts isolated from others. That means nearly 900 cases had not been traced, likely contributing to further spread of the virus. Hillsborough County Schools reported more than 13,000 students and staff were in quarantine or isolation Friday, compared with just over 1,140 in Orange County, even though the districts are of comparable size and reporting proportionate numbers of confirmed COVID infections. Why are they so far apart in their reports of infected and exposed students and staff? Quote, why are we not doing what they're doing? Hillsborough School Board member Melissa Snively asked during an emergency meeting Tuesday night, pointing at Orange County's low quarantine count. How are they doing so well? Well, they aren't necessarily doing so well, answered Hillsborough School Superintendent Addison Davis. Earlier in the meeting, he shared that he had enrolled his daughter because of elevated susceptibility in the district's virtual school for the semester. While commending Orange County on his efforts, Davis suggested that Orange and other districts relying on support from local public health departments may be unavoidably backlogged on contact tracing.
Oh, yeah.
So they just haven't reported it yet. Hadn't got caught up yet. Hillsborough, this is a really long article, but it's good stuff, so I want to go through it. Hillsborough's quarantine rate is higher because the district is performing thorough contact tracing using its own staff rather than relying on local health departments that are plenty busy already contending with...
They've got enough shit to do. Enough shit to do.
Jennifer Sperano, appointed COVID commander. Ooh, COVID commander. There's a fucking title.
G.I. Joe, baby.
Hell yeah. Real American hero. COVID commander leads the district's COVID response, said her team is surgical in its precision to avoid unnecessarily moving any students or employees from classrooms into quarantine. Board member Stacy Hahn said school districts should not have to do public health work and called on local health officials to absorb the school district's burden of contact tracing. Right? They should be teaching kids.
They don't have enough to do?
Jesus Christ. Dr. Douglas Holt, director of Hillsborough's public health department, said it can't be done. We have absolutely we do not have the capability to surge up, if you will. We would not be able to step in and assume that role because the public pandemic crisis is overwhelming them. They can't do the school because everybody else is. Oh my God. I hate this so much. Asked what the Florida Department of Education could do, DEO spokesman Brett Tubbs said the question hasn't been raised.
I don't know why that name's funny, sorry.
But he predicted it's just a matter of time. Question has come up with the Florida Association of District School Superintendents, which confirmed the problem in this written statement for the Phoenix late Thursday. That's a lot of words. Some districts are indicating that their local health departments are currently unable to keep up with the demand for testing and contact tracing necessary to return students to school in the most timely manner possible. Stay tuned. The question has come up with the Florida School Board Association, too. They, school boards, have said they need help. It's a monumental task. It's never ending, and it consumes staff time. Governor Ron DeSantis has broadly criticized school protocols that force, quote, kids who aren't sick into quarantine due to known exposures. So then you would just keep coming to school. But if you start to feel sick, let us know, and then we'll do something about you. Oh my God. Removed from classrooms, quarantined kids have limited access to instruction because the state because the state no longer funds remote learning. Live interaction with teachers via the internet, as was widely done in spring 2020 when schools were closed.
So angry. I'm still so angry about this.
If quarantined, students can continue their education at home by accessing materials online, sort of, or by taking home a self-guided work packet. This time last school year, schools could provide innovative or hybrid learning models, giving students interactive access to classrooms and teachers in real time over video conference platforms such as Zoom or Microsoft Teams. This year, those options are not available because
Yep.
our governor is an asshole.
He's a fucking asshole.
That's not the Phoenix. That was another editorial.
No, he's a fucking
comment.
asshole. They should put that in there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to bring kids into this, but we don't have a choice because our kids are dying. Our kids are freaking dying. The governor has a school-age child that he has not enrolled in school at all because the private school that he wanted his child to go into had a mask mandate. So he didn't want to send them there because that goes against his, his beliefs or whatever.
Yeah.
His stance. And so his child is not going to school at all. They're being homeschooled.
Mm-hmm. And that's an option.
That's an option.
Particularly if you're concerned about sending your kid into the petri dish. Like,
why is he concerned about this though?
Right.
I don't want that. I don't want any harm to that child.
No.
I want to say that now.
Yep.
No harm to that child. But I mean, he made this an issue. He said last year that he would send his child to school.
Mm-hmm. And now has chosen the opposite.
Now has chosen not to.
Yep.
But we have to send our kids to school, and we don't have a choice.
Right.
I did make the decision this past week that if we have the option of doing in-home, like the Zoom school,
right,
I think I might pull the kids out.
Yeah.
This is a lot. This is a lot for me.
I was talking to my mother today, and just we were talking about like just that decision of like we sat down.
There's a small child about to attack us. Please hold. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, small child. We had a conversation with we had a conversation about like the decisions that were being made and like looking at
there's a small child.
Are we we gotta check there.
Hold on, there's another small child coming in.
Another
there's so many small children
special
in this
guests.
house.
Why do you have so many small children?
Why do I have so many kids? Okay, guys.
Your kids are great. I love your kids. Your kids are great.
They're just like me. That's the terrifying. They look like me. They act like me. It's terrifying.
Yep.
Staffy, go.
I agree.
Get out of here. I love you. Get out of here. Get the dog out of here. Go give your guinea pig some water. Go give the guinea pig some water. He's
guinea pig's still alive?
I love that fucking thing.
I know you do. They're so dirty.
I love that thing.
They're just
so gross,
freaking dirty.
Close the door. Goodbye. Go. Be gone.
Good Lord. So I was talking to
that was a close one.
So I was talking to my mother today, and we were talking about just that decision of like, what do we do? Are we making the right decision? Like you worry because if we pull them out of school, they're gonna fall behind. Like already, our public school started 2 weeks ago or whatever, and
you just got
we're
word,
just
like,
we're still waiting. And so like, and they're like Florida Virtual School is making exceptions to that, like making up the lost work, the missed work, and all that stuff. Like it's not a big deal because it's on their end. Like we applied before the deadline, so it's their fault, not ours. But but like, are we overthinking it? Are we blah 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 whatever? And it really came down to like I would rather have a kid who's a bit behind for their grade level and need to catch up than a dead kid. Like it really came down to that. Like because I don't trust these schools to do the right thing, especially under the governor's order.
I genuinely think they're trying to do the right thing. Like I talked to my son's principal when he called and was like, your kid may have been exposed. Like I talked to him and had like a legit conversation, and the guy was just like exasperated.
See,
like, he's just trying to do his best. I cannot compliment and commend the teachers and administration enough. Yeah, honestly, I can't.
For me, it's the teachers. Like our teachers last year were just amazing. Totally. But like, I just the school districts that have decided like screw you, DeSantis, take our money, try to take our money.
Bless them.
Like, yeah, they're the best. Like,
Mhm.
good on you for standing up to this bully and saying, no, our role as educators, as administration officials of a public school is to protect the well-being of our students. And that comes first. And screw
And that's
you.
what we're doing.
And that's
Yeah.
what we're going to do.
And it should be noted that I think today, Richard Corcoran, the head of education, Secretary of Education, came down and said that they will defund those top 3 schools that had the mask mandates.
Right. Wasn't that all South Florida?
Pretty
Like
much.
Miami area?
It was Alachua, Broward, Miami-Dade, I think, were the ones that were mentioned. Other schools have done it, but they kind of like hedged their bets and like couched it in certain language, but
right. They were vocal.
They were very vocal about it.
Okay, let me keep going here because I think we get into some of that. On Thursday, Pasco convened school principals to discuss what to do about insufficient contact tracing. Recruiting more staff is not an option because nurses are in high demand and hard to retain. Oh my God. I'm doing like job searches right now, and for the pay range that I need to be in, like I have to filter out like a lot of things. Like I don't want to do sales, so I'm like minus sales, minus this, minus that, and minus nurse is one of them, and it like cuts the listings in half.
90% is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.
I'm going to apply some lipstick. Sorry, I'm classy.
That's okay. This is not the school year we prepared for, Haggerty said. We are rebuilding the plane while it's flying. We all saw this coming.
We knew this was coming. This is the school year we've had since March of 2020.
Yes.
It's the same freaking year. And we're... Sorry.
Sky says, my kids are fully vaccinated and homeschooled. Some parents don't have a choice, and that breaks my heart, especially for the ones that are too young to be vaccinated, right? This is the whole thing of like, let's race to reopen was, holy shit, capitalism is falling apart. We got to get our businesses open again. Well, we can't get people back to work until those kids get back to school. Send the kids back to school. That's literally what happened here. That's literally what happened here.
Yeah, I'm terrified for my daughter. Like she's not old enough to be vaccinated.
Right? None of my kids are.
Like lying about her age because she's tall for her age and she can get away with it.
Yep.
And I've talked to other people who like have kids the same age that are like, trying to get away around that.
Right.
I'm terrified for her, like on a daily basis. Like I walk her to the bus and I'm like, I've made my kids their masks. They all match their outfits. Like they're all adorable. And I double stuff them with filters and I am molding that mask to her face.
Right.
Like it is, she's like, please, it hurts. I'm like, it's going to hurt, honey.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you know what hurts a whole lot worse?
Death.
A vent. Like being intubated is a whole lot fucking worse.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing you don't want to feel.
You don't want to feel that. I've been to the ER with her a couple times. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. Yep. Haggerty said the district would start issuing COVID data reports on Friday that more accurately represent what's happening in Pasco. Through Thursday, the district reported 251 suspected or confirmed infections in students and 105 in employees. 292 students and 5 employees quarantined, far from the 1,291 cases Superintendent Browning referenced on Tuesday. They're just behind in reporting numbers. At the FEA, President Andrew Spar said Governor DeSantis should release $2.3 billion in federal agency funds intended for Florida schools.
This money is sitting there.
Yeah, just sitting
nothing.
Yep.
Just sitting there.
Yep. Rather than tie their hands by banning COVID restrictions, such as mask mandates, they might otherwise employ. He said the money could pay for more testing, upgrades to air conditioning filtration systems, and additional staff to reduce class sizes and ridership on school buses. Quote, the governor here is holding billions of federal dollars meant to help these districts, Spar said. Thousands are being quarantined, and we're only 2 weeks into the school year.
Oh yeah, like and keep in mind, like when they did this last school year, there was a hybrid model. So your normal size classroom was significantly smaller
Right.
because a lot of those kids were in digital.
Right.
They are all there right now. It is not physically possible
No.
to space them apart. They
No.
can't. They just can't do.
There's no
no
room.
room anywhere to do that.
Yep.
I'm raging again.
Through Wednesday, 5 school districts, Alachua, Broward, Hillsborough, Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach was one of the other ones, had voted to defy the governor's ban on mandatory masks in hope of tamping down transmission, despite threats to punish them by defunding their schools and removing elected officials. School districts hope that a court will find them in compliance because they offer a limited opt-out option for students and staff who document medical necessity, not religious beliefs, medical necessity, thus not fully mandating masks. DeSantis wants districts to let parents opt out at their discretion. He has argued that masks are unsuitable for young children, as if he knows what he's talking about.
Says who?
Says he. The State Board of Education is considering sanctions against Alachua and Broward and has not yet addressed the other defiant districts. Federal authorities have pledged to help school districts that suffer state-imposed penalties. Meanwhile, trial is set to get underway on Monday in a lawsuit filed by parents of school children who allege the governor overstepped his authority by implementing that ban on mask mandates in schools. And we talked about that when it was filed. So good. Get that in the courts and get him.
Get it, girl. Get it. I sent you a picture. I don't know if you want to post it because it's hysterical. Yeah, like I was looking on Twitter today. I saw that so we moved to Tallahassee from the Nashville area, and one of the schools that was in our county school district at the time actually shut down. Like an entire middle school shut down for like a week. Jesus. And they announced it because, what was it? They, let me find it. This is from Carol Birdsong of Williamson County School District, who would always do the voicemail messages for every child. When you get a call from a recorded message from Carol Birdsong, you knew you didn't have to go to school that day. But due to inability to staff the building and classrooms because of faculty and staff illness, Fairview Middle School will be closed tomorrow, Friday, August 20th, and we'll be using one of the stockpiled inclement weather days. There are 10 days built in for this, blah, blah, blah. Remote learning is not an option because of new state guidelines. Good for you, Carol Birdsong, for putting that in there. In there. Today, 187 of the 560 enrolled students were out due to illness. Tomorrow, 23 of the 77 faculty and staff members assigned to the Fairview Middle are scheduled to be out due to illness.
Wow.
They cannot continue on. Like, we are going to be shutting down entire schools for this.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is you're going to have a bunch of teachers out, and they're going to go, well, we can't shove all these kids into, like, consolidate classrooms. That's going to be even worse. We can't do that.
It makes it worse. It makes it worse.
Oh, my God.
Did you just see what I just sent you?
I saw the picture you sent me. It's really funny.
I think it's one of my favorite things of all time.
I'm not gonna post it. I'm gonna let people. Okay. I'm gonna let people.
Just wonder about that.
Wonder.
Go to Patreon or something. For that
yeah, there you go. We'll post it on Patreon.
It's really funny.
Pay to play.
Just like something here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyhow, that's where we're at.
I'm so tired of all of this.
We talk about the same fucking
every
thing
week. Every
goddamn week.
Yep. I really looked, like, and every week I look, I have, like, there are a bunch of different sources that I have in an RSS feed reader that I go through all the, the Raw Story and Right Wing Watch and like a Friendly Atheist and all of these things.
Yeah.
And everything right now is COVID.
Everything is COVID, especially in Florida. Like, everything's fucking COVID.
Yep.
So yeah, that's for that. I don't know. We have one more story?
I have one more story.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
And then I'll go back to the very first story that we had and finish my sentence.
Okay. So the last story is a local story here from Polk County. 2,200, when is this? This is today. As of today, 2,200 Polk County public school students have faced COVID-19 quarantine in the first week of school. After parents begged, this is
Four
from
digits.
this is
Four
from
digits,
the
people.
Ledger. After parents begged last school year to see the number of quarantine students because they weren't reporting that last year. Polk County Public Schools this week began issuing that list, school by school, showing that nearly 2,200 students were asked to stay home during the first full week of the 2021-22 school year because they were exposed to a COVID-19 case. In addition,
we didn't even have a full week here in Leon County because of the freaking tropical storm Fred or whatever it is. We're still like at those same numbers without the full freaking week of exposure.
Right. In addition, 137 staff were placed under quarantine. Please keep in mind, quote, please keep in mind this data is preliminary and subject to change, probably upward in the upward
It's not
direction.
going to go down.
As additional cases are reported and processed, district officials said on the website. Polk County Public Schools has more than 106,000 students and 14,000 employees. What was that number again? 2,200 out of 106,000 students.
Okay. That's a chunk of change.
It is the largest employer in the county. It is also the 7th largest school district in the state and one of the largest 30 districts in the country. Polk County Public Schools officials say that at least 343 students and 198 staff had confirmed or suspected case of COVID-19 the first week of school. High schools had the highest quarantine rate, with 3 schools totaling more than 100 cases. George Jenkins High had the highest number of students told to stay home at 189. 19 students either have or are suspected of having COVID-19 at that school. No staff members quarantined, although 2 either have the virus or have an unverified case. Tenor Rock High School had 120 students and 9 staff quarantined. Auburndale, 115, and 2 staff members told not to come to school.
Auburndale's in Polk.
Yep.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah. That's where our adopter road is, in Auburndale.
Now I know when no one's at the Battle G.I. Joe.
The district is notifying parents via telephone call again this year when COVID-positive case impacts their child's campus. Those who have to quarantine are those who have tested positive for COVID-19. They have to isolate at home for a minimum of 10 days, then may return to school after 10 days if they are fever-free for 24 hours without medication and symptoms are improving. In addition, staff who test positive will require medical clearance to return. Okay, so explain to me why this doesn't say. This should say, those who have to quarantine are those who have tested positive for COVID-19. They must isolate at home for a minimum of 10 days and may return after those 10 days if they test negative for COVID-19. Why doesn't it say they have to have a negative test to return?
I don't know. That's a weird way of saying it.
Yeah. Because they're like fever-free. So this is, don't get me started again on this whole...
I think you would technically still, I guess it depends on what the test is, but like you could still technically
test positive
if you have the antibodies if you have it in your system.
Okay.
I don't know. Like,
yeah.
That's a weird way of saying it, and I'm not sure I follow 100% because I'm on my lots of drinks.
Okay. Also, if you are unvaccinated and have been in close contact to a positive case, even if they do not have any COVID symptoms, they will quarantine for school for a minimum of 7 days from the last date of contact. Students or staff may seek testing after 4 days and return early with proof of a negative test. Well, okay.
It's not a PCR test then. It's got to be just like a what kind of test are okay. I'm going to let them
at-home tests are not accepted. So any other COVID test,
state run or something.
Yeah, right. Total days of quarantine may be longer than 7 if the close contact exposure is someone in their household. If they develop symptoms during quarantine, they will follow the guidelines for individuals who have COVID-like symptoms. They may return when one of the following criteria is met. 10 days have passed since the onset of symptoms or date of positive test result. The individual has no fever for 24 hours or other symptoms are improving. The individual receives written permission to return to school from a medical doctor, osteopathic physician, or advanced registered nurse practitioner for a non-COVID related illness.
I don't. Okay.
The individual
fine.
receives a negative diagnostic COVID-19 test and has no symptoms. At-home tests are not acceptable. Yeah, there's a lot in there that
There's a lot.
There's a lot. I have
take
questions.
in.
Yeah. District officials say fully vaccinated individuals or individuals who have tested positive for COVID-19 in the past 90 days will not be required to quarantine if they are identified as a close contact, as long as they do not develop symptoms. If they develop symptoms, they must follow the quarantine guidelines.
But if you develop, it doesn't. I don't feel like it doesn't matter if you develop symptoms or not. No,
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not a virologist. I'm stupid.
Right.
Apparently. I'm
Um,
also only half paying attention because there's a lot of like
big words and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm off the clock.
Yeah. COVID-19 update is on the school board's agenda for its Tuesday work session, scheduled to begin at 12:30 p.m. Emergency mask mandate could be brought up during that discussion as case of the Delta variant, blah, blah, blah. But here's what's going to happen. If they bring that up at the work session, the board meeting later that day or whenever it is going to be 4 hours long and lots of yelling hill folk.
I also feel that if your board members are legit, it doesn't matter how much yelling there is.
Oh, I completely agree. Absolutely.
I want to wish all the patience on those people and just be like, play Sudoku, play,
So
doodle,
one of these board members is a classroom science teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been for years, and she and I have had several conversations about like, God, lady, I don't know how you do it. How do you sit there and listen to this anti-science bullshit?
Yeah.
The new superintendent is a science teacher. So like, we got all the people in where this should. Now there are some people on the board who are not so.
Slightly more political.
They're a little more. Well, there are some politicized folks on the school board, and then there are also those ones that are like, well, I prayed real hard, and God told me maybe I should.
This is His will.
This is His will, and
if
it's my turn to go, it's my turn to go.
And same with all these little children that I've been charged with their well-being.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But I mean, along those lines, like we've gotten mixed messages of what the quarantine procedure even was for my son.
Oh, I believe it.
Like, I didn't agree. Like, they told me this. I'm like, are you sure? Okay, then fine, we'll do this. And we did it. And they're like, oh, no, that's not it.
Right. Whoops, that's not
it's
it.
Like, okay, I mean, that's fine by me. But,
right.
Whew, yeah. Good times.
So,
Good times.
I don't ever want to have to talk about this again, but I guess I'll see you next week.
Speaking of school boards.
Yes, go back to your sentence that you didn't finish.
Okay, so the sentence I didn't finish, there was a bill that was filed in the Florida House last night or this morning by Representative Spencer Roach, and I can't believe we have someone who's called Rep Roach.
I don't know who that is. Who is that?
Yeah, someone you don't want to know.
Are we doubling the time for the moment of silence?
I wish.
Are we adding a pre-written prayer to the moment of silence? What's this guy doing? What's he doing?
He would want to do that.
Yeah, he would.
He has said this in committee before.
Oh, good.
He's very much against us on everything we believe in. So he filed a bill that would require that all school boards. So mind you, school boards shouldn't be political. It should be based on the person's qualifications, whatever,
right.
Their goals, their interests, whatever.
It's a nonpartisan thing.
NPA, non-party affiliated.
Yep, right.
He wants to make all school board elections partisan.
What?
Yes. Every school board election has to be partisan, which if you look at, there are technically more Democrats registered in Florida than there are Republicans, which still,
right.
Uncle Jerry Mander has a lot to say about that.
Yep.
But I feel like the people that really vote for the school boards are not the ones that we want to be voting for school boards. And so it's gonna skew the school boards in a way that our side would rather not see.
So let me guess, they're making the argument that like the same people are going to run. Basically, you're just letting them wear their D or R pin
They can let
on their
you
shirt.
can let them be. They're free to be mean.
Right. Right.
I don't know the back, like the reasoning behind it, but it's just like, let it be partisan, just like any other election. Every election we have is partisan.
Not every
Why can't this
election
one be?
not even like beyond school board. There are other elections that are non-partisan.
Agreed. But
Ugh.
and I actually I didn't get that when I first moved here. I was like, why the fuck doesn't it say who's who? And so I had to actually read what the people's like
You
statements
had to
were
like
and what their
actually
positions were.
research the
I had
candidates.
to do research.
Ugh.
God forbid we do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I voted for who I thought
Right.
should win.
Right.
Not based on their party, obviously, but because of like what they wanted to do for the city or the county or whatever.
Right.
It's interesting. Like Florida's interesting in that respect. Like it's almost set up like they want you to be educated, but then they don't.
Right.
Like then it's like a hard 180.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's the bill that's going through, and
That's
I'm
interesting.
sure it's going to be a lot of opposition to it, but it will pass because it will.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Didn't I see something about? Was it about the governor being able to? Oh God, now I'm not going to be able to remember what it was. It was something about changing it from changing some positions from elected to appointed.
Which I wouldn't be surprised because that's what he just did with the Alachua County School Board.
Right.
Remember, like I mean, they for small as like Republicans first. I know we're nonpartisan, blah blah blah.
Right.
But for like for as small government as they want to be,
Mm-hmm.
as Republicans claim to be, home rule is out the window.
Oh
Like
yeah.
your local elected officials are shit in the minds
Yep.
of the states.
Right.
And
Oh,
we've
and
had
and
we've
said it
had
out
people
loud.
like Randy Fine,
Yes.
and we've had representatives like Randy Fine say, "I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I don't care what they want.
What they want. I don't care what the county or the city wants. It doesn't matter to me. I'm here in charge of the budget. I can do what the hell I want."
Yeah, he says it's my money. Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
great.
Everything's so good. We're doing
Everything is awesome.
We're doing so great here in Florida.
Everything is cool when you're part of it.
Now you have to pay Lego for the rights to that song.
I ain't doing shit for Lego.
All right. Is that it? Did we do all the things?
I don't know.
I'm so
I have shit I
tired.
want to bitch about. Patreon is going to be amazing.
Patreon's going to be a blast. Patreon.com/polkatheists if you want to join us over there for the blast that happened. What does this say? Who is Jesus to you?
I'm talking about it.
I'm going to put in my notes to talk about our son. So the Jehovah's I won't go too far into the story, but the Jehovah's Witnesses obviously aren't going door to door because #COVID. So they're like doing a lot more letter writing, and we've been getting a lot of letters.
God, we love mail.
And
Everyone loves mail.
and my 11-year-old son found one of those today, and I will tell you all about that on the other side at patreon.com/polkatheists. I just have to remember to write that down.
I'll write it down.
Thanks.
Write it down now. So
thanks, because I've had enough rum. I completely forgot what we were talking about. Hey, Devon, what's going on with you? What's happening with you what's going on in Devon's world?
We have great news from our group that I'm not going to announce yet.
Oh, damn it, Devon!
It was unofficial.
Oh,
again,
you're killing me.
Tallahassee, humanistlh.com. It's not my fault. It's not on me right now.
Okay.
Humanistlh.com. We are, as I've said before, we are doing a hygiene/snack pack distribution with a very progressive local congregation, Methodist congregation. They're awesome. They do not proselytize anything of the sort. They just hand out bags of food, and we make these hygiene packs, and they just hand them out to homeless people that need it. Like, no questions asked. Here's your bag of stuff. Just have a great day. And we had our first in-person service event ever last weekend, which was great. We made over 100 bags.
Nice.
Hygiene packs. So this was the first time I had done it. I kind of want to use it as a test run, like what works, what doesn't work. is we're gonna need a lot more supplies to make. It didn't take very long for us to pack all these things.
Yeah.
And we also managed to drink. We managed to drink the entire time. We had a Christian amongst us, one of the Trinity
Nice.
Methodist members,
Uh-huh.
and she really loved it. She loved it. So we all, I
That's
had like a
great.
little assembly line going on in the house, and we were all, socially distanced and stuff. And they're like, well, why can't we just sit at this table and just drink and pack this? I was like, that works too. And so we were
Oh
just,
my God.
it was so much fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot of fun. And so we made over 100 snack pack or hygiene packs to distribute, and we're gonna keep on doing this. We're, if you want to donate, humanistlh.com, I think /donate. You can go there to do that. All that kind of fun stuff. That's what we're focusing on at the moment,
That's
because
great.
we're kind of back in COVID land, so we can't do much else.
Right. Oh my
Oh, there's a
God.
fruit fly here,
So
sorry.
freaking annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Oh, we
Yeah.
have we've schools back in session. Kids are back in school.
Oof.
So we started back up our Weekends Without Hunger program.
This is my favorite thing of all time. I'm not gonna lie.
There a lot of kids that eat lunch at school on Friday and then have nothing to eat at home until they get back to school Monday morning. And thankfully, I don't know if it's the farm whatever program, federal farm program that that FDA or DCHR, I don't know, whatever it is,
USDA.
some letters. That's it. That provides meals that that none of the kids in our county have to pay for school lunch.
That's awesome.
It's all provided. Scary socialism.
Providing for people's
providing
needs.
for people's needs. What? And so thank the good Satan that they do that, because if it weren't for that, these kids wouldn't be eating at school either. Yep. So there are tons of kids in this situation, and so we're thrilled to be able to put together some grocery packs to give to them, and it's done very discreetly. Like, we take them to the school, and the students can just pick them up and carry them out on their way out, and they're just in little bags. They're not actually, we call it a backpack program, but they're not in backpacks. But they just we deliver them to the school. The kids don't even know where they come from. They don't know that it's the atheist community or whatever. Like, that's not what it's about. It's about feeding kids, and so they can just pick up a bag on their way out on Friday, and then their family's got a little bit of groceries to do on the weekend. And we actually just received notice that Spectrum has approved our grant. So we're getting a $5,000 grant from Spectrum, which is freaking amazing. And that'll allow us to double our impact.
Nice.
So we'll be able to take on and help more students and their families. And we'll also be able to upgrade some of those food items to healthier choices, because that's another dumb fucking thing that happens in this country. If you want cheap food, it is the worst for you.
What?
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy talk. I can't believe it.
So we're so excited for that. And a big thank you to Spectrum and Charter Communications for and Donna for nominating us. This is part of their employee grant program. So as employees of the company, they can recommend organizations to be considered for grants. And Donna recommended us. Thank you, Donna. We love you. And that's it. That's all I really have to talk about. There's still your clock is winding down. You got about 10 days left to do the scholarship for the Secular Student Alliance, which you can either go to their website or fif.show/scholarship and fill that out. We're offering $1,000 scholarship, and then there are a whole bunch of different ones in Florida, but also all over everywhere that you can apply for, depending on where you live, where you're going to school, all of that kind of stuff. And that's it.
Hooray.
Next week on Freethought in Florida, we'll talk about COVID some more, I'm sure.
What else is there to talk about?
I don't want to talk about COVID anymore, guys.
I'm so
freaking over this. So stupid.
We don't have a choice at the moment.
I don't wanna. I'm so tired of it. Like, guys,
That's all there is to do.
This was all preventable. We didn't have to be here.
We did not have to be here.
We didn't have to do this. This didn't have to be a thing.
We're still here. Shit.
Well, that's next Friday night at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30
COVID talk.
Pacific
Come
on
back to COVID talk.
Freethought and COVID. Freethought in Florida is available on YouTube, Facebook, all the popular podcast players. You can find all the links in the info and learn about us and me and Devon. Where's Devon? At fif.show. Send us an email to info@fif.show. Like, subscribe, share out the episodes, help us reach a broader audience. And of course, remember all the important things. I don't even know how many there are anymore, but at the very least, wear a mask, get your vaccine, and be kind to each other. We'll see you next week on Freethought in Florida.